Hey, you guys, Chris here. Today we're going to have a conversation around patience. So, patience is defined as the capacity to deal with or tolerate delay, suffering, or trouble without becoming angered or agitated. And patience is a practice. I've heard so many times that patience is, there's a quote, patience is a virtue. And I've heard people say, he's so patient or she's so patient. I don't know how they do it. I'm impatient. It's just who I am. But in truth, if patience is a practice, then the opposite of that is a practice too. So impatience is a practice. The practice of patience has to begin when impatience becomes present. So we had to have that opposite but equal behavior so that we can replace the behavior of impatient with the behavior of patience. And patience has to be nurtured and cared for. The practice of it, the capacity of it. And think about it as everyone has a cup and the cup of patience and how much you fill that cup up with, how much work and effort and time you spend into cultivating this cup of patience will determine how full it is. And the fuller the cup of patience, the more patient you can be with yourself and others. And on the same token, impatience is the lack of filling of the cup of patience. So I think the biggest struggle that I have, and I think other people have with patience, is that impatience pays off immediately. The practice of impatience gives you immediate gratification because you get an emotional release. You get to be right. You get to be in control of something outside of yourself. You get to stand in judgment, and it gives you an immediate sense of release. And patience doesn't have that. Patience is like a relationship or like building a house. It takes a long time, and you may not even notice the gratification of it. You may not notice immediately the strength of relationships, or notice how people are more likely to come and talk to you about things because you have patience with them. You can sit and listen attentively, asking questions or not. And so the payoff for patience is delayed, and it may not even be perceived immediately or at all. So what is patience? I think patience is something that has to start with ourselves. Myself, I'm incredibly patient with other people and incredibly impatient with myself. Uh, when I become impatient with myself, it's usually around something I think I should have already began doing, or I become impatient with something that I think I want to do. And when I start to become impatient, it starts to give me anxiety. I start to become anxious. And so even if that impatience pushes me to do something, I don't get the enjoyment of doing it. I don't get to experience what the process is. And so what I learn is impatience makes me do things, but I don't learn anything from the process of doing the thing. I just know I feel impatient. I need to get this done. I get it done, and I don't even notice how it happened. And so being patient allows me to be in the process and be in the space of learning about myself, about my world, how I interact with it, how what I do impacts it, and not just this cause and effect instant payoff of rushing to do something. I can become like impatient thinking about the past, something I need to rectify, and it makes me a little depressed. Yeah, like that this thing's even present. So the lack of patience for me brings up anxiety and depression just around myself. And so starting to become patient with myself, it's been starting on my yoga mat and my practice on my yoga mat, and I've been practicing for a long time now, and I've noticed in the last 2 months, and this has popped up before in the last 2 decades, but in the last 2 months, as I've been practicing, I've been wanting to rush to the end of practice. I want to feel good. I want to get the feel good of having practiced, not just physically, like how I feel on my body, but I want to feel accomplished. And so I have this feeling of accomplishment. I got it done. I got on my mat. Um, and I don't get to actually experience the practice because I just want it to be over with. And so what I've been doing on my mat lately is just telling myself, just one more breath here. Just take one more inhale and one more exhale and stay with it. Be with what's happening right here, right now, in my body and on my mat. And that's really helped me get through my practices, whether they're self-led or I'm following someone online. It's allowed me to get present. And then by the time I get to the back quarter of the class, I've already forgotten about whatever it was that was making me impatient or whatever was calling me away from being present in the moment. So I can survive those moments of needing to feel accomplished, of needing to have it right now, and I can be in the experience of it. And so I get to experience the deep release and restoration of what comes at the back end of classes. And I'm finding that in my meditation as well, as I sit and meditate and increase the time I meditate. If I can just stay here for one more breath, if I don't listen to the sounds of like a cruise ship or something in the background distracting me, if I can just come back to my breath, then I know I can sit here for at least that much longer. And so slowly I'm working on the practice of filling my cup of patience for myself, so I can come out of judgment for myself, so I can be more present with people, and so I can be present with myself. And level 1 of Baptiste yoga training, Baptiste Power Vinyasa, we learned what our lie was. Like, our lie was our biggest truth that we thought about ourselves, and if anyone else knew it, then they wouldn't want to be around us. And in truth, like, the truth is a lie. But by my lie showing up is what feeds my impatience towards myself. My lie is that I'm not good enough. And so I can go about proving that true by being impatient with myself for not having accomplished this or not having accomplished that. And so I get to be right. My lie gets to be true, and everything I've built on it and my entire 43 years of living is right, and I don't have to let go of it. I can hold on to it as my truth. But when I'm patient with myself, my natural talents and abilities come out, and I get to actually experience myself as being talented and able. And that's been a struggle lately, a big time struggle, as I'm fed by interactions with other people and connecting with people and hearing their stories and having them impact me, and then being able to impact them just through my presence. And so I'm missing out on that. So what I would love to hear is, how are you guys with patience? Is there a certain practice that you put into place to build your patience or to stay present in the moment? If you have something, feel free to drop it in the comments here. Also, I did a 12-minute meditation today, recorded it. It's going to be out on YouTube, on IGTV, all that stuff. Go check it out. A 12 minutes meditation on patience. So if you're looking for a 6-minute meditation, this is perfect. Go do a 12-minute meditation on patience and see if you can stick with it. Until tomorrow, have an amazing day.